Hi everybody, Marco Carbajo here from businesscreditbuilders.org. Today's video, we're going to talk about how to get business credit cards for a startup with 0% APR up to 18 months. We're going to cover three main areas in this video. Number one, what exactly do you need before you actually apply for business credit cards for your startup? Number two, we're going to share with you what actually the banks look at to determine, number one, if you're going to get approved and how much they're going to approve you for in credit card limits for a startup. And number three, we're going to share with you our top 3 business credit cards for startup in this video. So if you're a business owner, you just started your company, you have no revenues coming through your business, you have no established business credit, this is the video for you because we're going to share with you how to get approved for business credit cards as a startup business. So let's get started. Now, the benefits for you as a startup company for business credit cards is their unsecured revolving lines of credit. So with business credit cards, when we're talking about revolving, this is credit you can use when you need it. You can use it for purchases, you can pull cash from your credit cards, but it's revolving and it's unsecured. We're not talking about securing a deposit for a credit card in this video. We're not talking about you have to have revenues or you have to have bank statement activity to get approved. This is strictly an unsecured revolving lines of credit for your business. And this is 0% financing up to 18 months. So each of these card issuers we're going to share with you, these top three cards, will give you 0% APR up to 18 months. Business credit cards help you separate your personal and your business expenses. So this is very important for you as a startup because when you're making purchases for your business, you're paying for expenses. When it comes to filing your tax returns for your business, you want to have that complete separation. So when you have a business credit card where all your business activity is on that particular card, it makes it much more easier for you when it comes to doing your taxes. It makes it easier on your bookkeeper. So you want to start right from the beginning as a startup to create that separation between your personal credit, and your business expenses, and you want to separate your personal card usage from your business card usage. So this will help you establish a credit file for your business as well. Because with business credit cards, depending on what type of business credit cards you get, the ones we're going to share with you in this video, they help you build your business credit because they report to the business credit agencies, not your personal credit. There are some business credit cards out there that also report to your personal credit. So you, in my opinion, you want to stay away from those particular types of credit cards for the business because that debt that you have on those cards will report to your personal credit. So that impacts your personal credit utilization, your FICO scores, etc. So you want business credit cards that will help you build up your company's credit. This is a key point that I want to talk about when it comes to getting business credit cards is establishing multiple banking relationships. Most business owners say, well, I have a business credit card, I have one American Express card, or I have one Chase business credit card. The problem with having only one business credit card is your credit is tied to that one bank. Okay, and let's say you have a line of credit with your bank as well, and you only have one line of credit. The problem with that is you're limiting yourself to one particular bank that controls your access to credit. So at any time, if your bank reduces your credit limit, they close your line of credit, etc., then you are closed off. And as you know, back in the day when we had that financial crisis and all the banks were reducing credit lines for small business owners, many businesses had to go out of business because they had only one line of credit. So my advice for you is to diversify your access to credit. You want to have multiple relationships, multiple credit cards for the business. That way you're protected. And this also positions your business for future credit limit increases. As you're using your credit cards that you get approved for, every 6 to 12 months, provided that you're maintaining those cards, you're paying them on time, you can request credit limit increases for your business. So this will help you not only with your initial approval, but you can scale your access to credit. The other thing is receiving targeted business credit offers. So once you have a relationship with that one bank, now second bank, third, fourth bank, you have, let's say 4 or 5 cards for the business, those banks are going to compete for your business. So they may offer you additional credit products, additional credit cards they may offer, maybe even a line of credit, etc. So these are all the benefits of having business credit cards for your startup. Now, before you apply for a credit card, you want to make sure you have your business structure, those documentations in place. So if you're sole proprietorship though, and you have a DBA, then the bank may require your DBA paperwork. Now, if you're an LLC, they're going to want your certificate of formation. If you're a corporation, they're going to want your articles of incorporation. Now, some business credit card issuers may not require those documents, but it's important to have those documents obviously on hand and you're ready just in case they require it. The second thing is your employer identification number, your EIN. This is also known as CP575. So when you apply for an EIN number for your business, you're going to get a specific document from the Internal Revenue Service. Here's an example of what it looks like. This particular document, also known as your EIN letter, this has your company name, it has your assigned employer identification number. This is an important document you want to have on hand anytime you're applying for a business credit card, because a card issuer may want to see your proof of your EIN. They may want to see the actual document. If you don't have this document, let's say you lost it or you have the wrong address on it and you need to have an updated address, that's very important that your address is current on your EIN CP575. So you can call this number right here, 800-829-4933. That'll take you to the specialty line for the Internal Revenue Service for businesses, and you can have them check your address on file, and you can request them to fax a copy of your EIN letter to you. If you do have to change your address when you're on that phone call, change your address and have them send you an updated one via fax so you can get it right away. So this is an important document for you to have. Once you have your structure, obviously, you have your EIN. The next thing, obviously, you want to know what your legal business name is. These are items they're going to request for you when you put it on a credit application for your business. They're going to want to know what year your business was started, your business address, and what industry type are you. Some applications will actually have a pull-down menu. You could select what industry you're involved in, and they're going to want the owner or owner's information on here. Now, you can apply for business credit cards with no business revenue or established business credit history. So I want you to make sure you understand that. There are many cards out there, like fintech cards, that don't require a credit check, but they're going to want to look at your bank revenue. They're going to want to see that you're doing a substantial amount of business revenue through your bank account. So with this particular video, we're talking about getting business credit cards with no business revenue, no established business credit history. Now, what's important is if you have no revenue, you have no established business credit history, how is a bank going to issue you a credit card? Well, the main factor they're going to look at is your personal credit. They're going to look at your credit worthiness as an owner. Okay, so that's what the main factor is going to be here in determining how much of credit you're going to get, what type of credit limits, etc. So let's break this down to you. So now that you know what information you need, let's talk about the second thing you want to be ready before you actually physically apply for business credit cards. You want to check your credit. You want to know where you stand with all three major personal credit bureaus. You have Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. So you could go to annualcreditreport.com. You're entitled to that free report once a year. It doesn't give you your FICO scores. You want to know what your FICO scores. So I recommend going to knowmycredit.org. That'll take you to our ScoreSense partner, and they have a special with our link, $1 for 7 days. You can get all three of your credit reports, all three of your FICO scores for $1 for 7 days. After that, it's $29, $30 a month, and you have access to your reports and FICO scores, and any day you can look at it. So that's why I actually always encourage you to have access to your reports and scores at any time. So this is a great service that's available to you. The first thing you want to look at is what are your credit scores. So your FICO scores are going to range here from 300 all the way up to 850. For business credit cards, ideally you want to be in the 680 or higher range with the credit bureaus. But what's important here is know what your FICO scores are with each bureau. So you may have a 690, let's say, FICO score with Experian. But let's say you have a 670 credit score with Equifax, and let's say you have a 700 credit score with TransUnion. So once you know where your scores are, then you can be very selective on where you apply for business credit cards, depending on which credit bureaus the credit cards pull your credit from. Okay, so for example, if you have a low FICO score, well, let's say with Equifax, let's say you have a 660. Well, obviously you don't want to apply for business credit cards where they're going to pull your Equifax. But if you have, let's say, a 690 or 700 plus on your Experian, then you're going to have a greater chance of approval with a credit card issuer that pulls from Experian. Once you know what your FICO scores are, you also want to look at your actual credit report. I'm going to share with you 7 key factors that are going to determine if you get approved for a business credit card and how much they're going to approve you for. So number 1 is your FICO score, like I talked about. You want to have a 680 or higher FICO score, okay? And that could be with Experian, TransUnion, or Equifax. Your comparable credit, this is really, really important. Comparable credit means is how are you managing your personal credit cards? How high are your personal credit card limits? And I'm talking about primary credit cards. I'm not talking about authorized user accounts. Okay, so how high are your credit limits? How many personal credit cards do you have? Okay, so comparable credit. I want to share with you an example. We had a client that went through our credit card funding process. This was literally just 4 weeks ago. And we acquired 6 business credit cards for him, totaling $165,000 in business credit card limits. So you got $165,000 in credit card approvals across 6 different cards with 0% APR. Okay, and we accomplished that in less than 18 days. Okay, so how was that possible? We had, and this is actually an actual client, he had 3 credit cards. They're Cap 1 credit cards, 3 of them, 2 of them were Cap 1 credit cards, one with a $20,000 limit that he's had for 5 years. Another one, he had another Capital One card with a $15,000 limit, and he had that for about, I think, 6 or 7 years. And then he had another almost $8,000 credit card that he's had for like 7, 8 years as well. Okay, and the company he had was several years old as well, but he had really good credit card limits on his personal side, and he's had it for many, many, many years. Very low credit utilization, okay? But that's the comparable credit. So because he had high credit limits on his personal side that he managed very well, then with banks, they're going to assess and say, then you're more likely to manage a same or greater amount of credit on the business side. So that's what we're talking about comparable credit. So if you have low credit limits on your personal credit cards right now, your goal should be to raise those, get those credit limits up. Higher the better. Payment history is another factor that's obviously going to weigh in on with your approval, and you don't want to have any late payments on credit cards or especially mortgage. Okay, so you want to have great payment history. Your length of credit history is a big factor too, because you can have a 700, 730 credit score, but let's say your credit is less than a year old or a year and a half, then that's very limited credit card history. Ideally, you want to have over 2 years of credit history at least, minimum. Okay, if you have less than that and that's all you have, then that's a very thin credit file. Your credit utilization is going to play another big factor. Ideally, when you have credit cards, banks, when it comes to issuing new credit, they like to at least see some cards with 0 balances. They don't like to see all your cards with balances. Okay, utilization, ideally, you want to be under 50% utilization on your credit cards. But that's the beauty of if you're not sure where you need to be at or what does it take to get approved or how much can I get, we offer a free pre-qual review with our credit card funding program for businesses. I'll get into that at the end. New account activity, this is also important. If you've opened 3 new credit cards in the past, let's say 6 months or 4 or 5 months, and you want to apply for some business credit cards, that's too much recent activity. Most likely you're going to get denied because that's an aggressive credit behavior. So they look at that, especially if it's credit card related. If you, let's say, got a mortgage inquiry or you just got approved for mortgage or you got an auto loan, that's different because that's not a comparable credit product. Okay, so sometimes they overlook that. But new account activity is a factor. Inquiries is another big factor. We have many potential clients that come to us and they want us to get business credit cards for them, but they have 4 or 5 inquiries they've just done within the past 30, 60 days because they were trying to shop around on their own, getting declined everywhere, and we can't do anything for them because they've got too many inquiries. It's too much activity. Okay, so you want to be very selective with your inquiries because they look at that. After so many, they'll start declining you everywhere. Okay, so excessive inquiries, you want to stay away from that. Existing relationship with card issuer is a major, major plus. What I recommend to you is you want to look at your personal credit cards, but who do you have your personal credit cards with? What banks? Because if you have a great relationship with your personal credit cards with that bank, you're more than likely to get an approval for a business credit card with that bank if that particular bank offers a business credit card product. It just makes more sense to leverage those existing relationships that you have when it comes to getting into the business credit card space for your startup. So these are the 7 key factors. And I want to talk about American Express as one of, this is our top 3 business credit cards we recommend. American Express has 2 great cards, and these are more of your starter business credit cards. Obviously, American Express has many other business credit cards. Some of them require much stronger personal credit. I look at these more of the entry cards for business credit cards into American Express. You have Blue Business Cash Card, Blue Business Plus Credit Card. Both come with a 0% APR for 12 months. 1 to 2% cash back on the first card. You get 1 to 2x points on the second. A $250 statement credit on the first one, 15,000 points on the second one. In order to get that statement credit or the 15,000 points, you have to spend $3,000 in the first 3 months. Now with American Express, these particular cards have no annual fees. There's many other cards American Express has, but some of them have some pretty decent fees. It just has to make sense, but my recommendation to you, being a startup and you're just getting in, if you have no relationship with American Express, then you want to start with one of these 2 cards. Now, if you already have an American Express card, a personal one, let's just say, then you can apply for one of these particular business credit cards with no credit check. It's only a soft pull, okay? Many times they won't even check your personal credit because they're going to look at your existing card history relationship with them on the personal side. So that's what I love about American Express is once you're in their ecosystem, then your additional cards, there's no inquiry. Now, one thing I want to talk about, let's say you have bad personal credit and you're watching this video and you want to say, well, how do I get into getting these particular business credit cards? Well, with American Express, my advice to you is, let's say your credit score is low and you're working on it, you don't have a 680 or higher credit score, you don't see that you can get approved for this, then get into their ecosystem if your goal is to get into American Express. So how you do that is you can get American Express savings account, you can get American Express checking account. American Express has different products that you can get into, so that's a way for you to start establishing a relationship with American Express before you actually apply for a credit card with American Express. The second credit card is Chase. This is another really popular bank for startups. Is they have 2 cards here, the Inc. Business Unlimited credit card and the Inc. Business Cash credit card. Love both of these cards. Have them myself for my company. 0% APR for 12 months. For both of these cards, 1.5% cash back or up to 5% cash back on select categories on the second card. They have a $750 cash back bonus, which is huge. If you spend $6,000 in the first 3 months to earn that bonus, that's huge, because let's just say you're going to buy several $1,000s of inventory for your business or equipment that your company needs. You're literally getting $750 cash back if that spending is up to $6,000 in the first 3 months. That's a really awesome bonus. Okay, now you want to make sure that you haven't opened 5 credit cards that are reporting on your personal credit card in the past 24 months, or Chase will automatically decline you. This is a really popular thing. Lots of videos on the 524 rule. My recommendation for Chase is 680 or higher credit score. Now, American Express and Chase are both going to pull your Experian report, and they also pull your TransUnion report. They won't pull your Equifax report. So just keep that in mind when it comes to credit scores. Experian is a major credit bureau that a lot of card issuers on the business side pull from. But they'll both also pull your TransUnion report. So keep that in mind when it comes to your scoring. Now, on the third one that I recommend is the Triple Cash Rewards Visa Business Credit Card from US Bank. Why do I recommend this one? Why is this a favorite? Because 0% APR for 15 months on purchases and balance transfers. Balance transfers as well. So why is this great? Let's just say you're a startup and you started your business right away and you've already racked up some credit card debt using some of your personal credit cards, and these are business-related expenses that you put on your personal credit cards. Well, you apply for this card, guess what? You can move those business purchases that you put on your personal credit cards onto this card, your business card, and get 0% for up to 15 months. Because we see that a lot of times where businesses get started, they started using their personal credit cards and they haven't opened any business cards, and they have debt from their business on their personal credit cards. Now remember, you can only move business purchases onto this card. You can't move over personal credit card debt, okay, for personal expenses, just business. But this is the only one in our top 3 that offers 0% on balance transfers as well, which is huge. You get up to 3% cash back on select categories, 1% cash back on other purchases. You have a 5% cashback bonus as well. No annual fees on all 3 of these cards, and all these cards that we recommend in this video. None of them have annual fees, which I love. But you have to spend $4,500 in this card in the first 150 days. They also pull Experian, the 680 Plus. They're also known to pull TransUnion as well. So you're seeing a little pattern here with some of these business credit cards. But 680 or higher FICO score on this one as well. If you're looking for done for you, where you want to get the maximum amount of credit approvals as possible, and we offer a business credit card funding solution. So like for example, we share with you our client, we got him $165,000 in credit over 6 credit cards in less than 18 days. We leveraged this good credit and secured that amount of funding for his company. So with our program, we get up to $175,000 in unsecured business credit cards. And this is 0% introductory APR for up to 18 months on each of the cards, depending on what the bank offers. Minimum is 680 or higher FICO scores. This doesn't report to your personal credit. So although there's going to be an inquiry from each of the banks, as far as the accounts, they don't show up on your personal credit. This will help you build those multiple banking relationships. This helps you build business credit. This is a no-doc funding program, so we're not going to ask for your financials. There's no P&L statements. There's no tax returns. This is called a no-doc program. It says fast funding, 14 to 20 days. We're done. You don't have to wait 6 months or a year to get all your credit. No, we're done in 14 to 20 days, and you have those cards sent to you from the banks. To pre-qualify, all you need to do is go to businesscreditbuilders.org, and you're going to select the pre-qualify tab right here. Okay, and that'll bring up this pre-qualification form. You're going to fill out the form, and if you want to, you can order your 3 tri-merge report here first. You're going to save that as a PDF document and upload it here. And then it'll take us about 24 to 48 hours to do the review for you. We'll contact you back with funding projections and what's available. And then if you want to move forward, we start the process and we send you the agreement to get moving forward. Okay, so if you found this video helpful, definitely give us a thumbs up. We would really appreciate it. Go to businesscreditbuilders.org. We have our done for you funding. We have our step-by-step business credit building system. Make it a great day, and we'll talk to you real soon.